Hello, this is Amber Ford, and this is my presentation for Module 7. Honestly, I had a hard time with this assignment. I had a vision of what I wanted my chart to look like. That included a little bit of flow chart and a little bit of a Venn diagram. And working through all the different programs that were made available to us, I just had a hard time getting those to fit my vision. So I had to let my creativity side go and just do bare bones. Would have loved to have more digital images, but didn't want to pay to be able to do that. So this is what I came up with. And so let's get started about internal and external communications of USD 307 El Saline. First of all, let's start on the internal side over there. I determined that the internal members are students, teachers, faculty, and administration. The members of the external side would be parents, those community groups such as youth groups, alumni groups, all the district residents, the elected officials of the community, as well as the Board of Education, and then those parent-teacher organizations such as booster clubs and PTAs. When we're talking about the communication within those groups, for internal groups, I feel like at USD 307, the communication happens through meetings, trainings, emails, and text messages. For the meeting aspect, we have district level leadership meetings about every other month. We have building level leadership meetings about once a month. And then we have a redesign team that meets fairly often as needed. And then biweekly staff meetings. And then we also have those PLC groups that meet for student improvement and to talk about social emotional needs of not only our students, but sometimes our staff. Then trainings. This year has been a unique year in those trainings and trying to do those virtually or within house by using our own experts in our building. The main source of communication within our district, since our buildings are 15 miles apart, is emails. We have email groups that make it easy to do that communication. It's just hard sometimes to have the time to stay caught up on all those emails. So therefore, we are allowed to use our cell phones to send emergency texts to administration or to other classroom teachers if a student is leaving or we need assistance of some kind. For the external sources of communication, I've determined that there's Google Classroom that is used mostly grades 3 through 12. It's a great experience that we're having with that so far. Still learning about a lot of the components, but it's something that we've added since the pandemic started. Seesaw has been used for about 7 years through grades pre-K 6. Parents absolutely love it. They love to have that archived portfolio of student information, as well as just being able to go to the app and message teachers, as well as teachers like it because then they don't always have to give their personal cell phone numbers out to parents to communicate. We also use Power School to mark attendance as well as grades. Grades have to be updated on a regular basis. And for grades pre-K2, Power School is only used for attendance. Then we do have our monthly newsletters that come out. Administrators put out a newsletter every month. Teachers do some as well to those groups, and those groups make their own newsletters. We also have the parent handbooks as well as report cards and or progress reports to share information. There are some communication techniques that I determined were kind of both groups. Some of those were events, such as athletic events, concerts, parent enrichment nights, or even things such as the book fair. We also have social media that our district uses. That is a supplemental position for one of our high school teachers. We share information with her and she puts it on as appropriately as possible on to our Twitter account and then also on our Facebook. There are some things that make using Facebook easier than Twitter just because Twitter limits character count. So she does put things on Facebook for us, such as schedule changes, if classrooms are doing something unique, but it is a very controlled account, which makes it successful within our district. We also have a district website that teachers can post things about their classroom, and we are getting better about also putting all the information that would typically go out on Twitter or Facebook available on our school website as well. Um, the use of email and text amongst both groups to communicate outside of the classroom and into the classroom mostly takes place through email and text. We do not have phones in our classrooms, so making phone calls during the day is very challenging, but most parents understand that, and so a quick text or an email works out well, and follow-up phone calls could take place as necessary. Um, I feel like if you look at this overall, ELSLEAN has a great diversity of communication techniques. We have some oral, some written, and some digital. I feel like a weakness that we have is that we may rely on digital communication a little bit too much. 62% of our district has access to quality internet, and so sometimes they feel like they're getting delayed information because they have to wait till they go into town to access free Wi-Fi to sometimes get that information. But we do have a messenger system that does make phone calls as well. So that combination works out. Um, we just have to continue to find ways to communicate the most effectively and efficiently to all of our members of our district. We encourage district residents that are not parents of students to also sign up for those communication tools as well. So overall, I feel like we have done a great job at that, but we need to continue to have training and time and funds to support all these communication techniques. So like I said, this is not the most creative looking presentation, definitely not my style, but it does include the components necessary to explain our internal and external communication for USD 307 ELSLEAN. Thanks.